Would you like to stay for the meeting?
Yes,
It's okay with me.
U.S. President Donald Trump drew attention on June 17th when he arrived at the final day's morning session of the G7 summit and declared, "I'm the boss," as he entered the room with other leaders already seated.
I'm the boss.
Trump's light-hearted remark was met with laughter from attending leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, who appeared to take it in good humor, greeting the American president and asking him how he was. The G7 summit, which is being hosted by Macron in France from June 15th to 17th, brought together leaders of the world's major advanced economies against a backdrop of growing geopolitical uncertainty. While the summit featured the traditional setting and diplomatic pageantry associated with G7 meetings, attention centered on the guest list. Alongside the core G7 members, France invited India, Brazil, South Korea, Kenya, Egypt, Qatar, Ukraine, and the United Arab Emirates. Observers believe that the idea behind new inclusions was to reduce reliance on any single member state, including the U.S. According to the analysis presented, the summit represented more than outreach to emerging powers. Officially, the summit focused on geopolitical challenges including Ukraine, the Middle East, and international partnerships. However, beyond these issues, allies were also focused on preserving Western coordination amid concerns about potential shifts in U.S. foreign policy. According to the analysis, leaders were mindful that future changes in Washington could affect policies on foreign affairs, trade, sanctions, and alliance commitments. Consequently, the summit saw allies seeking to manage political risk as governments sought ways to protect collective decision-making from potential policy reversals. This approach was evident even before the summit began. Macron reportedly structured the program to reduce friction with Trump, delayed proceedings to accommodate his schedule, and narrowed the agenda to issues where agreement appeared possible. This as Trump has repeatedly questioned the value of multilateral institutions, left meetings before they concluded, and opposed collective positions on trade, climate, and security issues. Notably, European governments entered the summit seeking to avoid public disputes, while also developing mechanisms that could allow cooperation to continue if Washington altered its position after the gathering. One such mechanism has been the increasing use of coalitions among like-minded countries, capable of acting without unanimous G7 approval. Diplomats have increasingly discussed smaller groups moving forward on support for Ukraine when broader consensus proves difficult to achieve. Ukraine remained a central focus of the summit. European leaders sought to establish long-term support arrangements capable of surviving political changes in the U.S. Discussions included military assistance and additional pressure on Russia. Amid concerns that future American policy could become less predictable, experts say the objective was to ensure continued support for Kyiv through institutional structures, rather than relying solely on decisions made by the White House. The recent conflict involving Iran also influenced discussions, with the crisis highlighting vulnerabilities in global supply chains and uncertainty over the fate of the Strait of Hormuz. G7 governments accelerated talks on diversifying energy sources and improving strategic resilience. These efforts were partly driven by a belief among allies that Washington, evidently so, may not always coordinate major geopolitical decisions through traditional alliance mechanisms. Notably, Trump had in April this year told allies who rely on the Strait of Hormuz for energy supplies to go get your own oil, as the U.S. appeared to back off on its promises to open the strait. As for the latest discussion at G7, trade remained another area of tension between the United States and its partners. Rather than pursuing a comprehensive agreement, leaders reportedly focused on more limited areas of cooperation. Throughout the summit, leaders largely avoided direct criticism of Trump. Officials instead appeared to concentrate on maintaining engagement with the U.S. president while strengthening alternative channels for cooperation. Trump himself illustrated both the opportunities and challenges facing allies. Following talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he supported stronger language on Russia, backed broader discussions regarding Iran's missile program, and participated in collective security efforts. At the same time, his playful declaration that "I'm the boss" sought to highlight his personalized style of leadership that continues to concern many partners, both within and outside the alliance. Trump has publicly criticized several fellow G7 leaders in recent months, all while reviving previous disputes and creating new tensions. According to analysts, one key source of friction in recent times has been the reluctance of other leaders to support the U.S.-Israeli military campaign against Iran. Despite these concerns, G7 governments are not seeking to isolate the United States or prepare for a complete break in relations. Instead, experts say they are attempting to build a more adaptable framework that allows cooperation to continue even during periods of political uncertainty in Washington.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.